Let's learn to play with Python using Thonny. To do this, well, you can see I've started Vera Virtual, and here I've already downloaded from Piazza chapter 1 of the text, algorithms.pdf. So we're going to open that up because that contains our instructions. We're going to use something called Xournal. Okay, then under File, we're not going to go to Open. We're going to go to Annotate PDF, choose algorithms.pdf. Now, when Xournal opens, it is in a state which is best fit here. And that prevents you from scrolling easily. So the best thing to do is to say zoom in or zoom, let's see, up here and zoom in and until it's the size you want. And then you should be able to scroll, and this will allow you to move simply. So we want to go to the place in this, starting with Python, the Python shell. And after, so here we can see that we have the beginning of a section where we can begin to enter some Python. Now, where we're going to enter it is in Thonny, which is under Programming in Thonny. And you can see that it has somewhat unusual name. If you go to Help and About Thonny, you see that it was made at the University of Tartu in Estonia. So maybe it means something in Estonian. Okay, so Thonny has two sort of text areas. The area up here is a text editor where we can put lists of Python instructions and save them in a file and then get the interpreter to run them. Down here, we have a shell, which is a text-based interface to the interpreter. We can type individual commands. That's the one we want here. So you can see that our first instruction is to enter 42. So we type 42 and press enter. That's what entering 42 means. And then yours might, Xournal might start off with a highlighter, with eraser or a pencil. Choose text. Then when you click over here, you can type in what was the response of the interpreter. Well, it was 42, just gave you the value back. And we can continue with minus 134, 134.5 with a decimal point, press enter, and you can see then that for this one, we get the same thing back again, minus 134.5. Okay, now down for the next exploration, we can ask, what's the kind or type of these numbers? Each value in Python has a type or a kind. And so entering type 42 shows us that the class of this number 42 is int. We don't have to write the whole thing here. The basic point is that this is of type int, okay? Now, so we've typed in some stuff here, and you should continue moving down the page here. But when you've gotten to a point you want to stop, or when you're, want to save your work, instead of just saving it, now you can save it. If you save it in Xournal format, then you can open it again and continue to work on it. But if you want to export it as a PDF, you can export it as PDF. And you don't want to save it as the same name as the file you opened with. So I like to put just the letter A for annotated. We save that. And over here we can look at that directly in the viewer, and we can see, if we go down to page 8, you can see that we've actually got the values filled in. So you can convert a PDF with blanks to a PDF with answers. And that's the intended way for you to play with Thonny. Just to illustrate, at some points it'll ask you to write lists of instructions. For example, we could write in the print command that will print a piece of text. We could produce an assignment command or two assignment commands. A becomes the name of 1, B becomes the name of 2, and sum becomes the name of A, the sum of A and B. Then we can print the answer maybe just the sum is, put a comma and sum, because I'm printing a list of items, this piece of text and this, the value of the variable there. Okay, so now we have to save this or before we can run it, so we can do save as, and this is just test script. We don't have to do the .py, okay? And it saves it anyway as testscript.py. Py indicates that the file has in it Python instructions. And to run this code now, all these instructions in sequence, we can just click on the little green run script button. And you can see down here, %run testscript.py, and it printed hello Thonny, and it made these assignments, added 1 + 2 to get 3, and then record. You can see that that's what happened because it prints off the sum is 3. Now, if you wanted to run the script again, you could click on the green button again, or just press the up arrow key. That's why you press the up arrow key, and you can press the up arrow key several times to get previous instructions. So if you wanted to, for example, put in here and find what's the type of a piece of text, you'd find that its type was str for string of characters. Okay, that's enough to get you started with Thonny.